G'day there guys, I would give my life to whoever puts an extra McNugget in my 6-piece nugget meal. Welcome back to another episode of r/Am I the A-hole. It's your host Markee. I hope you enjoy your stay here today. Smash that like button, sit back, relax and enjoy the show. Thank you. Posted by user Raindo Leg. Titled, Am I the A-hole for telling my ex I refuse to share custody of our daughter? So my ex and I have an incredibly long history. We met when I was 18 and he was 19. He was my first love and we dated for about a year. But after the breakup, we continued an off and on again friends with benefits relationship until I turned 23, which was also the same time I found out I was pregnant. He was going to school to be a doctor and he was in his second year of getting his doctorates when I found out. He was also studying in another state that was on the other side of the country. I got pregnant during one of his visits back home. When I found out I was pregnant, I told him immediately. He was very, very angry and asked what I was going to do about it. I told him I'd be keeping it, and he told me he wanted no part of the child's life because it was going to ruin everything for him. I told him that wasn't an option. I myself grew up with my birth father jumping in and out of the picture, and it's a big stem of my mental illnesses now. These are all things that he knew. After begging him to be in the baby's life throughout almost my entire pregnancy, one day he and his parents called me and offered me a deal. They offered to pay me a very hefty child support until the day the child turned 18 if I never forced him to be a real father. His parents, who were very wealthy, promised to take care of everything. At first, I said no. I refused and called them all a-holes, and told them my baby was going to have a dad, but after talking to many of my friends and father, they thought it best I take the offer. They told me there was no use in forcing him to be a crappy dad to my baby. I finally agreed about 8 months into my pregnancy. I took sole custody, of course. It's been 7 years and I had a beautiful baby girl that I love more than anything on earth. Every single month I get a check and not once has it ever been late. I haven't seen or talked to my ex since the day he handed me the first check. Until about a week ago. I get a call and it's my ex. He tells me he wants to take joint custody of our daughter. The daughter he has never met in his or her life ever. I was infuriated and told him no. He told me I can't just say no because he's going to take me to court where a judge will decide. I was crying and screaming and asking why he was doing this. He told me he was sorry, but he's ready to be a father and he wants to be there for our daughter. When I told him I was going to fight him with every fiber of my being to make sure he got nothing, he told me I was being ridiculous and I need to grow up. I've told my family and friends, and almost all of them have told me I need to give him a chance and that I'm just being a bear. The only person that agrees with me is my mother, who watched me get torn apart by my father's constant jumping in and out of my life when I was a child. I know that this is going to be a hard fight, and ultimately it is the court's decision. But I just feel like I need to fight this. Am I the a-hole for being so against him getting any custody? Edit. For all the people that are confused about age, we met in late teens, got pregnant when I was 23 and he was 24. I'm 30 now and he is 31. I'm gonna go with not the a-hole. He's studying to be a doctor, and part of that is, intentionally not doing harm to anyone. He knows your history with your father, he knows the damage it caused you, he knows the mental illness and the constant toll it takes on you. And yet, 6 years on, he's now ready to be back in this girl's life. There is no guarantee that he's not going to do what your father did and do the same kind of damage to your daughter. He burnt you once when he refused to be a part of the baby's life, and now that the baby's grown up, he's like, oh, I'm ready to be a father. In my opinion, he's absolutely not ready to be a father. He threw that away ages ago. But obviously, it's up to the courts how they want to go about this one. I don't think you're an a-hole for fighting this. I honestly feel like he had his chance and he blew it. 6 years old is formative years for a child. You don't want to be disrupting them early on, like you got disrupted. He had enough wealth and backing by his parents at 24 to move and be a part of this child's life and still do what he wanted to be doing. But he was greedy then, and this is the price he pays: a lengthy court battle. I don't think you're the a-hole, and you wouldn't be the a-hole for continuing. Edit 2. For all the people that are saying I'm the a-hole for not getting an abortion, thanks. But I remember asking if I was an ass for telling my ex I'll fight him over custody. Please stop telling me I should have aborted my 7-year-old daughter. It's very much too late, and I never asked for your opinion on that matter. Not the a-hole. I'm not a lawyer, but I doubt he has much chance of getting custody when he's never even met his 7-year-olds. I do find it strange that you insisted for 8 months that your baby was going to have a dad, even though he clearly didn't want the child, and that you were willing to take the money from his parents instead of asking for child support from the father. If the family is rich and providing for their son, it sounds for me like child support with extra steps. Maybe she was afraid of raising a child by her own. Maybe she didn't want her child to have no relationship with the father. Whatever her reasons were, you may find it strange, but I think her behavior was due to a difficult situation that tore her from pro to contra. Or maybe I'm wrong. Also, not the a-hole for OP. If she would have asked for child support, that would have meant that she accepted joint custody in the first place and took him to court for child support. This way she's better off. She has sole custody and proof that the father's family pays her monthly to avoid bothering their child, the father, with such duties. There's no way a judge will rule against her unless the father's family pays the judge off. OP says, they offered me the money, I think 3 or 4 months into my pregnancy. I said no at first because I thought he'd come around. He wasn't, and everyone was telling me to take the deal, so I just did. He was completely financially dependent on them at the time. You should fight tooth and nail, but it's going to be a long court battle, and he may end up with some custody. Everyone should be able to meet their parents if they want, but this is a complete stranger who she may end up forced to live with. If the kid is 7 and has literally never met her dad, no judge would give him custody, at least not without a lengthy reintroduction period with graduated access. It would be traumatic to the child to drop this on her now, and judges don't give a crap what the parents want. It's about what's best for the child. Not the a-hole, but it really doesn't matter what we think here. You need a lawyer yesterday, and you can refuse to share custody and he can fight you. You might win, you might lose. I highly doubt a court will refuse to grant him any contact. It's doubtful that they'd start off with joint custody, but they might start with supervised visitation with the option to work towards partial custody. Courts often consider it in the interest of the child to have both parents in their lives. OP, you need to do everything you can to look like the more reasonable and responsible parent here. Schedule some extra sessions with your therapist, schedule an appointment for your daughter, and prepare your family for some kind of contact. Tell your ex it isn't going to start with joint custody when he has never met the child, but give him an opportunity to meet the child. How have you explained him to her so far? Updates. Hey guys, so I wanted to give an update since some of you were very kind and worried for me and my daughter. So I made a very hard decision. After many people's advice and opinions, I decided to ask my daughter what she wanted. After a very hard and long conversation with my daughter, she did tell me she would like to meet him. I don't want to say much more about that. Can't lie, it hurt my heart, but I remember being that excited every time my mother told me about my father. I called him and asked him if he would meet me for coffee. He told me he thought that would be great, and we set it up. Seeing my ex again was incredibly hard. After a very, very long talk, we decided that if we could both be civil adults, we could stay out of court. I decided to let him know that I think he should pay for therapy for them both, and he agreed that would be a smart decision. They have an appointment in 2 weeks, and my daughter is excited. I've also made it clear that there are no second chances after this. I'm not going to say I'm not nervous about this whole situation. I'm actually very scared for my daughter. I want what's best for my daughter, and that's it. I'm trying very hard to remember the man my ex was for me though. He was my best friend and rock for 5 years, and I only hope he can be that for my daughter now. Thanks for the many kind words from many different Redditors. You gave me the courage and reassurance that I could handle this, and many others gave me healthy advice for my daughter's future relationship with her father. Thanks again to the kind comments and advice. Edit. So I'm seeing a lot of people say I need to legalize his visitation and stuff, but I need to know he can be a father first before doing this. When I say stay out of court, I mean we won't be having a long, nasty custody dispute. We will talk to our lawyers when we cross that bridge. Mushroom Princess 63 says, one of the hardest parts of being a parent is stepping back and laying down our own ego in the best interest of the kids. That is what you've done here. It shows that you're a fantastic mother who has the ability to realize your daughter's feelings should not be discounted just because she's a child. Good job. Your daughter has a strong future with you on her side. Incredibly difficult decision, OP. Good on you for putting your own feelings aside and involving your daughter in the decision. I'm so glad you went that route. I've seen kids despise the parents who have kept them away, even though the other parent was the one that took off. Hopefully things will work out for all involved. Echoing the other comments that staying out of court seems like it would cause less drama and stress, but it often ends up leading to blurred boundaries and one parent overstepping the other or even going completely against the wishes of the other parent. Custody agreements are there to protect the child. Frankly, you may have known this person years ago, but you don't know him now. He is, for all intents and purposes, a stranger to you both. Don't shoot yourself in the foot here. I'm not saying that he's a bad guy or anything, but I am saying that with harsh lines and boundaries drawn, there is more protection for your child. Agreements can always be adjusted down the road. They are not completely set in stone. So things can change as you and your daughter both get to know and trust this person as time goes on. Posted by user throwaway6664201235, titled, Am I the a-hole for not adhering to the wedding dress code? So, my sister is getting married in about a week, outside by a lake, both the wedding and the reception. She's very particular, borderline bridezilla, but she's always been that way our whole lives, so I expected nothing less. She requested every female attending the wedding wear a specific style of dress, long black dress. I guess is not to take any attention away from her. I, however, am very pregnant. Due August 13th pregnant, and can't imagine anyone being comfortable in a thick long-sleeve black dress in the middle of summer, let alone a 38-year-old pregnant woman. I asked my sister directly if I could adjust the dress a little bit, make it not as long and shorter sleeves, and she freaked out. Told me I couldn't change the rules because then she'd have to do it for everyone. I told her I wouldn't subject myself to heat stroke, and she's putting people in danger by forcing them to wear black long sleeves outside in the summer. My mother told me I was being ridiculous and I should just suck it up. But I think my sister is the ridiculous one. I'm thinking of just wearing a nice black dress that I can be somewhat comfortable in, or not even going. Would I be the a-hole if I didn't adhere to my sister's strict wedding dress code? I mean, I think it genuinely puts you at risk, doesn't it, for heat stroke, even more so with you being pregnant. If it's as serious a health risk as I think it is, I don't think you could be blamed for wanting to change up the dress code a little bit. It's for your own safety and for the baby's safety, and if she refuses to accept that and she can't accept it, that's kind of too bad because your safety goes over her ego and feelings. So no, you're not the a-hole, and I don't think you would be the a-hole. I don't want to say you'd be the a-hole, your sister is being ridiculous, but I just wouldn't go if she's being that way. No need to show up and cause a scene if that's what will happen. I don't think purposefully going against her rules is right unless she agrees. I agree. I mean, I assume this dress code was known a long time ago. OP should have brought this up at the time, or when she knew it was not right before the wedding. The style of the wedding is up to the bride, and since this is a last-minute request, then OP should just not go or stay inside. OP says, "The dress code was sent out about a month ago, so this has been an ongoing issue, but at the time, she just said she'd prefer everyone wear black, which is fine." I mean, she's absolutely being a bridezilla and unreasonable, but it's still her wedding. You shouldn't do anything that's going to upset her. Let her know you can either come in a comfortable dress or not at all, and leave the decision up to her. Sorry you are dealing with this. She's making every single woman attending wear the same style of dress? That's super insane. How many people are attending this wedding? I can only imagine what it will look like. Pretty creepy, I think. Do the men have to wear the same style and color suits? So weird. Not the a-hole, but good luck dealing with the crazy lady. It's gonna look like a funeral. It just might be for the groom. Speaking up as a female, but seriously, the groom should just ditch this bride at the altar. At least the all black will be a nice tie-in to her mourning the death of her relationship. Updates. So I posted about a month ago about my sister requesting I wear a long sleeve, ankle-length black dress to her lakeside wedding in summer, while being 9 months pregnant, and I've gotten many requests to update. Well, I ended up having my baby like 3 days after making the post, so I was in the hospital when the wedding happened, so I didn't go. My sister was there when I pushed her out and apologized for being a bridezilla, so all is well and I have a cute baby. Sorry that was an anticlimactic update, but I give the people what they want. ETA, sorry guys, no baby tax. I'm not comfortable posting photos on a public forum, especially with some creeps and a-holes on here. Wow, I'm an idiot. I should absolutely update what happened at the wedding. Sorry, I got that mummy brain. She still wanted everyone to wear black, but she did go lax on style. So like, kind of a redemption arc? The photos look nice, if not a little dreary. She thought black would make things look classy. She looked beautiful though, so mission accomplished. So every female had to wear a long sleeve, long skirt black dress to a wedding in the middle of summer. I know you weren't there, but how many people actually adhered to that rule? Don't count on the women to not adhere to that rule. I was at the Arboretum in Dallas on Memorial Day weekend, and it was so hot and humid that I almost gulped down a whole bottle of ice-cold water without stopping. There were still men getting married in black tuxedos. The Arboretum is my favorite place to go in Dallas. It's so beautiful year-round. Makes sense that it would be a popular wedding spot. I bet that was the creepiest looking wedding. Toss up between creepy as in the Addams Family, and creepy as in everybody being red and blotchy and sweaty and trying not to pass out. That being said, an intentional goth wedding would be pretty great, provided it's either indoors or seasonally feasible. Like, the guests all in black and the bride in a red gown? That'd be sick as hell. IB Flo says, "Seems like your kids saved the day, Lamau. I may have done everything I could to go into labor before this wedding." Alright, that's where I think I'm going to end today's episode, guys. As always, I really do hope you learned something or just really enjoyed the posts that were put up today. Quick shout out to all my new and existing Patreon and channel members. You should be able to see your name on screen right now, and if you don't, then I don't think you're part of the club, and you really should join the club because it's a great club. And I want to thank every single one of you guys for supporting me in this journey. It really means so much to me, and I love you all so much for it. Thank you for helping me out. As you can tell, I'm now happy and healthy back in Australia. Thank God it's not cold like Ireland. I don't like wearing jumpers everywhere. I prefer the heat. Thank you very much. I know that's an unpopular opinion. Anyway, guys, I really do hope you enjoyed today's episode. I'll see you in the next one. Have a good day, night, sleep, whatever you're up to, and I'll see you later. Bye.